What's going on, everybody? It's Neon Velocity and I'm back with some Gears of War news, and this video is going to be a short video, but I'm going to try to cram a lot of stuff in it as quick as possible. I'm not going to give you a bunch of filler and fluff. We're just going to go right into this. But first I need to take a step back to explain my position on why I think something big is coming to the Gears of War franchise sooner than we may think. The first thing to talk about is Gears 5 has been pretty much on a stagnant pace since the end of 2020. When Highbusters released, that was pretty much the last big release for the game. There's been some updates, throughout the last few months on different seasons and operations, but for the overwhelming majority, the game has been in a stagnant place with a lot of people moving on to other games. There's been a lot of employee turnover, whether their contracts are expired or gearing up for the next potential unannounced IP that the Coalition is working on. There is an NVIDIA leak that said that Gears 6 is on the way. Obviously, it's highly unlikely that's coming out this year. But then recently there was some other news about The Rock, who has ties to Xbox, saying that he's going to be portrayed in a movie playing a game that he really enjoys. And while there's no confirmation as to what that game might be, Twitter went crazy with the fact that it could be Gears of War. And while I don't think it is an interesting segue into where we're going to be headed. So there's also the fact that there was a rumor going around that Microsoft is planning a Master Chief Collection of the sorts for either the Fable franchise or Gears of War. Now, there's other games like Forza Horizon, but I just don't see that being a game that they're going to throw a collection out there, given that some of them are delisted now. I really foresee it being Gears of War over Fable just due to the tenure and the AAA timeness of that game, meaning it's been a longer standing franchise for Xbox. But not only that, today on February 7th, a very interesting tweet went out, very vague, but also makes you kind of curious as to what's going on. And it's basically a tweet from the Gears esports Twitter account, and I'll go ahead and read it out here for you. Is vengeance will descend on the battlefield, whether it's Gotham or Sarah, announcing the Batman as sponsor of the Gears 5 Winter Major. Tickets on sale February 10th, only in theaters March 4th. Vague. The Batman logo. We know the Batman is a big movie coming out in 2022. One of the biggest, if not the most anticipated movie of 2022, other than a few ones that will probably come out later in the year. But I started thinking to myself, like, why the Batman and why Gears 5, given the fact that Gears 5 is more or less on its way out. It's just in maintenance mode, if you will. But the Batman's not, and the Batman's a very big title. We already have Batman characters in Fortnite. I would really expect them to try to partner up with another, like a Call of Duty, who did it with Scream recently. It threw me completely off. So I started digging, and I think I know why. And again, there's no proof, there's no evidence. This is all hypothetical and opinion based, so don't take it for gospel, but please at least think about it from an open mind. Is many years ago, there was supposed to be a Gears of War movie, and Rod Ferguson in 2016 said that it's going to come. It's going to happen between Microsoft and Universal. We know that the Halo TV show is finally releasing in just a few months here in March on Paramount Plus. So perhaps we might actually start seeing some of these Microsoft potential entertainment value franchises finally make their way to the big screen or on your screen in your home, other than through the form of video game. But back to Gears of War and the Batman. What's the tie here? Well, I started looking at the marketing for the Batman, and you have the black and red, which is notorious for Gears of War. But again, why the Batman? So I started looking a little bit further, and ironically, Dylan Clark, who is a producer of the Batman, is also tentatively supposed to be the producer of the Gears of War movie. I'm not saying that there's an exact correlation that this is exactly what this means, but I think that after this many years that the film has been very quiet, there's been almost no words on it. Gears of War as a whole is not a top tier franchise right now, especially after all the acquisitions. As much as I love the franchise to death, I'm very intrigued as to the possibility of an announcement of the Gears of War movie officially coming out soon. I Now, I could be completely off base. I do think we're about to start seeing a big overhaul for Gears of War. We know that Gears Pop was not the most popular title, which it wasn't supposed to be. It was a mobile game. Gears Tactics did really well. Gears 5 fell flat in totality, in my opinion. While it was a great game for what it wasn't a Gears of War game outside of the PvE to me. Now, with that said, is what bigger way to rejuvenate some interest in the franchise by producing a movie, by producing the Gears of War collection, Gears 1 through 4 or Gears 1 through 3 plus Judgment. There's a lot of potential for the Gears of War franchise to balloon back up. We know that Microsoft has always seen Gears of War as the 1B to the 1A Halo. And so I do feel like we're about to see a lot of news coming out for Gears of War, and in particular, I think we're going to be starting out with a Gears of War movie announcement and a potential release date or year or something big as it relates to the movie. So there is some information for you about the Gears of War esports and the Batman sponsorship. Usually there's got to be another reason for a sponsorship other than marketing purposes, and no better way than to boost the Batman and Gears of War at the same time. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Again, this was a short video, nothing super fancy like my typical videos, but I wanted to get this out to you all. So I will see you in the next one, whenever that may be.